Hi, my name is Lop Siu. Welcome to my channel. Did you know that the majority of the Montagnards who come to the United States, they come here as refugees, and that they rely on the local American sponsors to help them with different needs and also adjust to life in America? In this video, I recorded Mr. Steve Harper, who lived in Durham, North Carolina. In the video, he talks about how he met the first groups of the Montagnards, and then he and his church members ended up devoting a lot of time and effort into helping these newly arrived refugees. And I hope you enjoy watching this video.
Hello, my name is Stephen Harper. I was born in Pennsylvania in the United States in the 1940s. Grew up in Pennsylvania among Christian families, Reformed church. Met my wife at church, and our families knew each other for 2 generations before we did. Went to Franklin and Marshall College and graduated with an economics degree. But it was a liberal arts education, so I had religion and philosophy and music, as well as history, and my science was geology. But I loved geology because we got to go into the woods and along the Susquehanna River, and we dug fossils and trilobites and other kinds of things like that. At graduation, I joined the IBM Corporation and spent 12 years doing systems work and sales work for computers in many different businesses. So I got to work with a lot of different people and a lot of different types of businesses. We moved to Durham, North Carolina in 1995 and joined a congregation at Duke University Chapel. And in the year 2002, our pastor found out that there were refugees coming to America, refugees coming to North Carolina. And these were refugees in some cases from Vietnam, based on the uprisings in 2000 that caused a lot of disruption and pressure from the government in Vietnam. People left their villages and got to Rattanakoe province in Cambodia and spent almost a year in Phnom Penh in holding camps before they got the papers and the qualifications to come to the States. So we agreed to sponsor a family. And 3 of us formed a committee and then added a number of other people. So we had a total of 12 people on our committee. We set up an apartment, we furnished it, and we went to the airport on January 31st in 2003 to pick up our family, which consisted of 2 19-year-olds who had fled their villages and gone through this whole holding and interview process in Cambodia and made it to this country. I think they didn't eat the whole time they were in the air because they were afraid of the food. I'm afraid they didn't use the facilities because they were afraid to do that. The stress of the travel was incredible. They collapsed into our arms. They were wearing t-shirts and flip-flops and shorts. So on January 31st in North Carolina, it's not winter like some places, but it's still cold. And we bundled them up in blankets and took them to the apartment we had prepared and left them there for the night. What we weren't prepared for was that villagers from the mountains of Vietnam were not accustomed to using bathroom facilities, stoves, refrigerators, freezers, and certainly not the thermostat. The apartment was cold. We realized, of course, they didn't know how to set the thermostat to warm the place up. Now, after a few years, they've been working, they own their house, they own their cars, their daughter has gone to community college and is now enrolled in a 4-year program. Soon after they were settled in their apartment, though, we discussed some private personal things to no avail because the 2 19-year-olds found out that she was pregnant in almost no time at all. And the baby, unfortunately, was born in week 24, which means she spent the next 4 months in the infant intensive care center at Duke University Hospital. She came home on Christmas Day of 2003. She's grown up healthy, but we did go through a lot of trauma and a lot of support. You know, they had to learn to extract milk and to put it in the freezer and to take it to the hospital and to deal with all of the cords and cables and connections that the baby had for those months. It was a difficult time. It was stressful. But the women in our congregation and on our committee stepped up and really made the mother and the child secure and cared for them. The parents since then have worked. Montagnards never miss work. The work ethic is incredible. And they have worked for the same companies for the whole 20 years that we've known. It's quite surprising in this day and age and in American culture. But the Montagnard people have a dedication to their work that's amazing. We also sponsored some additional families, and we cooperated with Binkley Baptist Church in Chapel Hill to sponsor a family. And the total number of children was 16 among these 5 families with 10 parents. So it's a pretty large group. And when we get together, it's a very festive occasion. So we have attended birthdays and graduations and weddings and a few funerals over the years. And we are so happy to have this gigantic family and be part of that culture. We've learned to eat some foods that we didn't grow up with. And we know now when we go to these buffets at the people's houses where there's 25 different things to eat on the table, we know which ones we can pick and choose that fit our palate. But we've learned to cook some things like that as well. And one of the daughters was in the hospital recently, and I went to visit her. She's about 20, and she had on her tray a pizza from a certain pizzeria here in Durham, North Carolina, and I recognized it. And I said, "Where did you get that?" She said, "Oh, my brother bought that in for me." I said, "How did he know to go to that pizzeria?" And she goes, "Because you taught him." And that's the kind of thing we run into all the time. The little things that we didn't think about have become part of their lives, as well as things that we learned from them became part of our lives. And we thank God for that.
Hello again. I hope you enjoy watching this or listening to Mr. Steve Harper's story about how he and people from his church helped these groups of refugees who moved to Durham, North Carolina. I want to dedicate this video to all the sponsors of the Montagnards. Thank you so much for helping our people. Without your help, it would be really difficult for us to fulfill different needs and to also adjust to life in America. And guys, if you find this video to be interesting and a valuable learning experience, please consider subscribing to my channel, hit that like button, and also share these videos with your friends and family members so that more people can learn about the Montagnards.